What's happening, people? Hope you're all well. Welcome back to the channel. Thought I'd do a show tonight because there's been a lot going on. This is going to be a crazy window, people. Absolute crazy. Every single day we hear more things, and today it's gone a bit mad in terms of Chelsea and Saudi Arabia. Everyone's talking about it, to be fair. Some people say they're bitter, some people say they're salty, some people are actually genuinely annoyed, and some people, if you're Chelsea, just do not care. Big up Joe, big up Mo, big up Billy, and big up LB. We have got Kaz on his way. He's eating some munch, but he will be joining us as well. Lewis, let's come to you, man. I'll be interested to know what your thoughts are of this because it looks like a few tweets from Romano and a few tweets from other people saying that there's some form of relationship that could be forming between a couple of clubs in Saudi Arabia and Chelsea, and that all these 4 or 5 names are being mentioned. Now we see Kante going today, Mendy's being linked, Koulibaly's being linked, Ziyech is being linked. Spoke to Mo earlier on Never a Foul. He was saying Aubameyang is the next name that's been put forward. Are we right to be suspicious, Lou, or is this just a bit like up in the air? What's going on, bro?
You're right to be suspicious. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think. No, I don't think suspicious is the right word, man, because at the end of the day, Chelsea need to clear out anyway, right? So if you're Saudi Arabia, yeah, and you're like...
Oh, come on, it's sus as, man. What are you on about? Come on.
How is it sus, though? Listen, right? Saudi Arabia, yeah, are clearly trying to get big players into their country and into their league. So you'd go clearly to Chelsea. So that aspect of the situation, I don't think is necessarily sus. When you look at all the ownership in that, then okay, you can look at that and go, that looks a bit dodgy, and clearly that is dodgy, and I don't actually think that's right. But in terms of Saudi Arabia going to Chelsea to get all these players, I don't think that. I think it's completely rational and understandable. They want to improve their league. They want to get big players into their country. So then they're going to go to the one team that has to sell because they have to sell players. So I don't think that aspect for me is not dodgy at all. But the ownership thing, clearly, that is an issue. And it might
be 5 players. They want 5 players from Chelsea. Like why many other clubs go to one club and go, right, we'll just have all your 5? Do you not think it's like, we're going to get you out of trouble for your FFP? Don't worry, we got you. Here's 5 players.
LB, for me, you are missing a perfect opportunity here because I watch a lot of content and all I hear all the time is 115 charges, 115 charges. This is your point to say, listen, Chelsea fans, you can't be saying that to us. You can't be saying that to us no more because they are up to a madness right now. It was only last week Todd Bowley was over in Saudi Arabia meeting with the Al Ahly president, right? All I hear from Chelsea fans is we need to clear the decks. I'm really worried about getting rid of these players. Then all of a sudden, Saudi Arabia, who have links through this PIF stuff, through Newcastle, have said, you know what? All that dead wood, we'll take it all off you. Because if they don't, no one's buying Koulibaly. No one's buying Mendy. No one's buying Ziyech, not for the prices that they're going to be getting from these clubs over in Saudi.
We know what the prices are.
No, but what I'm saying is we know there'll be a lot more than what they'd have got off, say, they'd have moved. I don't know. Where would
you can have the same energy to offer that to Bernardo if they go and get somebody else from that league, if they go and get somebody from a different place in the world. They offer Benzema a lot of money. They tried to get Messi. I'm just playing devil's advocate because
I believe it.
Mo earlier was like, Mo, you was on Chelsea.
But I'm playing devil's advocate here because I heard this narrative, yes, and I believe going to 5 players is too much. It's too much. But Kante is out of contract. But if they go, if I'm reading now, they're gonna offer Man City 70, 80 million euros for Bernardo Silva. Is that the offer? That's a lot of money. Man City will not be able. Who's gonna pay 80 million for Bernardo? He's worth it, but who has the money to offer that other than PSG to offer Man City that much money? Is Real Madrid? Barcelona don't have the money to offer Man City that much. So if they go do that, if they offer Tom and me and Dan talked about this, if they offer Thomas Partey a contract and they go to Arsenal, are we gonna have the same energy? I believe as of now it looks fishy, but if they go on and go other bids for other players, it can be fishy.
But we also need to see the fees that are paid, though, Mo. That's what Joe just said, talking about the fees. Well, no one knows the fees. Like, obviously, Joe, if they pay 70 million quid for Mendy, then clearly I'm going to change my tune. But at the moment in time, I don't know what the fees are. I'm just going off the fact that Saudi Arabia want to get big players into their league. So what's the one club that you'd probably go to? You go to the one club that absolutely needs to sell the players, which is Chelsea. Yeah, okay, we could talk about the ownership and that. I don't know if you want to come on to that. Obviously, the interlinked ownership, and clearly, I mean, how that's got through, whatever, that for me is not right. And yeah, you might be right, Joe. Like that it might turn out to just be completely dodgy, but I'm trying to not just go into this and going, yeah, that's dodgy, that's dodgy. I'm trying to be like, yo, come on, man, at least let's have some faith that there is a little bit of like honesty in the game.
It's ironic that we go to the Man City, we go to Lewis, the Man City fan, and talk about Fishy and Dodgy.
Maybe I'm just being delusional there,
listen.
yeah. But I'm still starting. I'm just hoping. But we'll see what happens, isn't it? But like I say, you have to see the fees. What fees are going to be paid, man?
Yeah.
You know,
For me,
only
go on,
people that
Cass, go on.
only
Cass.
people that are complaining about this are the ones that complain about everything, about every little thing that they get jealous of, and that's Arsenal fans. That's all it is. Nobody else. You don't see United fans complaining. Don't see Man City fans complaining. Don't see Spurs fans complaining unless it's Levy likes to complain about everything, and all the rest of it. It's only Arsenal fans. You have an issue with not saying all of them, but that's where it's come from, and it's just jealousy.
They're just questioning it.
But our Deadwood are great players over there. Because I think that's even nice. Because if it was from the MLS and you saw Inter Miami and the rest of it buying it, none of you would be talking about this right now. You'd be like, Americans, cool, everything's peachy and fine. But Saudi's coming, they just put 20 to 30 billion in funds into their league, but no one wants to read up upon that. I wonder where they're getting the money from. The Arabs. They're just trying to make their, all these players have got great followings. Of course they're going to attract these stars. These are our Deadwood. That's it. Jealousy.
See, I think it's fair for you to say that because there are some Arsenal fans that cry. But I also think it's fair for the Arsenal fans to have a raise a concern about what's going on here. I don't think there's many Arsenal fans that are crying about this. I think there's Arsenal fans that are questioning it. I think there's football fans. Joe's not an Arsenal fan. He's questioning it. Mo's not a massive gooner. He's questioning it. I don't really think there's a massive amount of fans that are not questioning what's going on there. I don't know another football club that's gone onto a club and gone, can we take 6 of your players, please? And they go, yeah, go for it. I can't name one. Maybe I've missed it. Maybe there's loads that do.
But Dan, have you been in a position where a team like Chelsea has needed to sell this many players? But at the same time,
6 players they can have. We've got 6 players they can have.
At the same time, we had a league that is willing to invest in their league, like Saudi Arabia.
China did it, man.
Yeah, but they had restrictions, Joe. They
didn't initially, but eventually they did.
Yeah, I think also. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Listen,
if
that's... say it as it is. Nothing illegal here, okay? Nothing illegal.
Yeah.
Chelsea, maybe, or maybe not. They found a loophole, but nothing illegal. And in football, you're allowed to do it until the other people fix the law. They haven't fixed the law. They said they're outside of the federation, the UEFA. They're allowed to do it. And to be honest, I will sit here and applaud them. It's a great business for Chelsea. They did it. They sold their players. They got rid of the Deadwood, and they didn't sell them to European clubs. So good for them. I'm gonna say it as it is. It's not against the law.
Do you know what my thing is, right? And admittedly, I dislike Chelsea. I do dislike Chelsea as much as Man United. Maybe Man United a little bit more. Obviously, it goes back, right? It goes way back for Leeds United fans, anyway. For me, football's cyclical, right? I enjoy, like you were saying, more. There was a part of me up until a point where I wanted Arsenal to win the league because I wanted something different. And then when it was clear they wouldn't, I wanted Man City to go on and win the treble because obviously I dislike Man United. They don't have that over Man City anymore, right? But for me, football's cyclical. So when I look at it now, I go, you know what? Say, for example, this is off point. Spurs are done now for me as a top 6 club. They're going to struggle to break back into that with the emergence of Villa, with the emergence of Newcastle. I like that. It's something different. So then when this happens with Chelsea, and you see the mess that Bowley's got them in, spending $500 million to finish 12th. And they're also now got loads of issues with FFP. I'm like, as a fan, I'm going, this is going to be tough for Chelsea. They're going to be out of the run for a few seasons now. Football's cyclical. It's time for Villa. It's time for Newcastle. But then what they've done, because of FFP, I don't agree with FFP, they've circumvented it so that now they're in a nice position again so that they can spend what they want. And then they'll be up at the top again. And as a fan, and especially for someone who dislikes Chelsea as a club, I was like, they're going to struggle. Now that might be different. And that's what's really getting the bee in my bonnet, because I like to see different teams winning it, because I've just been chatting about it and people will say to me, what about Newcastle? What about City? Listen, for me, if a rich Arab came in at Leeds United and bought it all and we won the league, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because no, I'm only being really, right? I want my club to win things, yeah, and that's why I never begrudge City fans. I never begrudge Newcastle fans because they haven't had it and now they're going to get it. So fair play, you know, and that's why. You know, Chelsea, for example, they'd have never got it if Roman was there. I remember that Chelsea side, Petrescu, Vialli, all them guys on Channel 5, Torre, Andre Flo, when they were winning, you know, when they were in Europe, for example, they were never going to win a Champions League. They were never going to win leagues for me. They had their rich billionaire. He came in, Bowley's come in, messed it up. But now, because of FFP, he's able to circumvent it. I don't think the rule should be there anyway because it stops an owner coming in at Leeds United to go, do you know what? I've got loads of money. I support Leeds United and I'm going to make them a top club. They should be able to do that.
They should just scrap this now. This FFP is a waste of time, man. It's
always a waste
BS.
of time.
Yes, it is.
It's BS. It's absolute crap. And I know.
Yeah, man. It's a waste of time, man. If my club wants to go spend $1 billion because they can every year,
exactly.
now we're Qataris and that. I should be able to, shouldn't I? I should have Mbappe, Kane. I should have the real Galacticos because I can, and still not be wounded by it.
You might listen, Kaz. That dream might come true still yet, bro. You don't know what's going on in your club, man. You're praying, bro.
I know. You all know it deep down in your hearts what's going on. Like you probably haven't accepted the first rule to.
Mate, if it weren't the Glazers in charge of your club, I would agree with you. But they are awful.
Yeah, that's the best part about it because they're greedy. So that's how you know when the money's on the table, they're gonna take it and run, and it's gonna be the best business transaction ever in the world. That's the world's ever seen when it comes to buying something. So. Because
and then Rio can get on and go, Man United are back. That's what I can't
lie. That's the last thing I want to hear is something out of his mouth.
They actually all need to clear off as well, man. All the United players. They've caused a lot of issues over the last 5-6 years.
Because of friendships. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's it. Gary Neville as well. Actually, I don't mind Gary Neville. He's all right.
It's a mad one. Billy, let me come to you, man, because there's some people in the chat, some very different opinions in the chat. Some saying, yeah, it's a disgrace. Some saying, who cares? Some saying it happens in China. Well, I'll tell you what doesn't happen in China. They brought like the Graziano Pella. We saw Oscar. We saw Ramirez, some of them. But we didn't see 6 or 7 players from one club go to China. I don't think, unless someone can correct me. So something I think might be going on. Now, I don't care if it is going on. But I'm questioning it and we're debating it. And we're wondering, is that the right thing? Do we want to be seeing stuff like that? Is there a potential for the tweet that I saw earlier? I think it was Lawless who sent it to me, saying from Romano, and someone had put something on there saying that they're basically, in a nutshell, saying to Todd Bowley, go spend another 800 million, mate. We'll sort you out. We'll buy your deadwood next summer. We'll get you out of FFP. Is something like that going on for you?
I think we're certainly allowed to raise an eyebrow to it. Because in my opinion anyway, it does smell a little bit fishy. Again, it's like Mo said, it's not against the law at the minute. However, you know, it's you don't know. I've lost my train of thought, boys. Always happens.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's something that as a Villa fan, I see Chelsea at the minute, like Joe's just said, I see Chelsea at a minute and think, you know, we could jump over these a little bit. We could get one over on these. You know, we're in a really good position financially. We don't have financial fair play problems at the minute. We've got owners that are wanting to spend big, that can spend big because of the financial fair play situation with us. Why can't we jump frog the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Spurs, who are struggling at the minute?
Well,
and all of a sudden,
Spurs ain't going to be that hard now, is it? Come on, let's
I think
you're already better than Spurs already. Like you don't need even.
I'd like to think so. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
You got a better manager, and you've got a better squad. You're already
better everything.
I don't want to.
Don't sleep on Postecoglou though. But yeah,
I don't want to speak too soon.
Do you know, can I just clarify as well? Sorry.
That's right.
I wasn't saying it's okay for City and okay for Newcastle, but not for Chelsea. What I'm,
I see that in the chat.
I was like, no, you're not hearing me. What I'm saying is, so say Newcastle, for example, okay? Newcastle, at this moment in time, look to be adhering to FFP. Hence why they're going out and buying people like Dan Burn, etc., as opposed to Chelsea, who I guess in a way are adhering to FFP, but are going about it in a way that is shady. For me, as a fan watching it, it looks dodgy. But like Mo says, they're not breaking any rules. But for me, if I'm a FFP bigwig and I'm watching this unfold, I'm going, they're taking the piss out of us. But there's nothing we can do about it. And that's what I'm frustrated as a fan watching it. It's like, I want Chelsea to be in the mud. However, it now looks like they're going to be all right.
And that's why it should be scrapped, shouldn't it, Joe?
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Can I quote
100%.
At the end, if they pay the fair market price for 5-10 players of Chelsea, fair enough.
Who decides that, though?
But if the prices get inflated, something is fishy about it.
How do you decide that? Prove to me it's inflated then. That's the problem you're going to have. You're going to say,
that's another good point here by Lewis. Yes, how can we prove that this is the fair market price? We can compare them to other players like Koulibaly. Now
No, you can't do that because
we know that the price is around 20, Lewis, 20, 15, 25 million pounds. That's the price. If they go and pay 40 for him and double that, now we start asking questions.
They're going for the World Cup, innit? You know what I mean? They want the World Cup. So what about if they turned around to you, Mo, and said, yeah, but we believe that actually by paying 40 million, because Chelsea would only sell him if we got 40 million, that's actually beneficial to our league and our country, and therefore our successful our bid for the World Cup in 2030 or whatever it is would have more chance of success. Who are you tend to turn around and say, nah, actually that fee is not. This is the problem. This is the why it just never will work, because who's going to decide what's market value? You can't say that, because they could turn around and say, nah, 40 million is fair.
But I thought Aubameyang is an example. Barcelona said we take him back for less than 10 million because we sold him for it. We'll take him less than 10 million. But if he goes to Saudi Arabia for 20 million, it's like selling something. These players, there is a market out there for these players. There is a set price, like for example, Osimhen, Højlund, whatever, right? You can't tell me, Lewis, that I'm just going to sit here and say, yeah, Koulibaly, 40 million, that's fair. It's not fair. Because they bought him a year ago for 25.
Yeah, but
Koulibaly got given a 4-year deal. A 4-year deal, which was mad at the time, because who's giving Koulibaly at his age 4-year deal? He's on like nearly 300 grand a week.
He was the best centre back in Serie A at that point.
Definitely, 100%.
A 4-year deal, though. A 4-year deal for a guy at his age. I think it's wild.
29 years old. Well, you don't want to put him on a 2-year deal, because 2 years down the line, you can sell him on a 3. 4 years is not that bad at 29.
I disagree.
So Bernardo Silva is 29, right? So when he gets a 4 or 5 year deal from PSG or something, that's a mad deal, though, right?
No, that's fair, Cass. That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not. You know what? I'm not trying to belittle it or anything.
No,
I
hear it.
I hear it as a centre back though, compared to someone like Bernardo. That's crazy. But I think Lewis said this as well. Who knows the actual fees? It might only be about 60, 70 million for all 4 of these players combined. You know, like
that's what we don't know. That's what we don't know.
It might not even be a lot of money. I think actually, Joe,
31 by the way. Koulibaly's 31 by the way, not 27.
29,
and he's washed
29,
up.
so 31 4-year deal, which takes him up to 35.
Yeah, at the end of his contract, that was the problem.
That's the new. But these days, I think he's quite athletic, anyways. He's a bit stiff, and he always has been.
But the guys, he's a great centre back.
I hear it, right? I hear it, but what I'm saying is, do Man United, Man City, Arsenal give Koulibaly a 4-year deal at his age? Because a lot of these City players that are leaving City is because they're not getting long-term deals.
What's your point, Joe? Here
or this year?
Chelsea were stupid. We know that.
Right.
We know
okay.
that.
So the point I'm making is the point I'm making on the Koulibaly thing is for me as a fan, Chelsea should be, I guess, not punished, but in a way, you struggle to get Koulibaly off your books by anyone else. Koulibaly, what? He's on a 4-year deal. Koulibaly goes, I'm not leaving. I'm on a 4-year deal, nearly 300 grand a week. But now they're able to go, there you go. He's away. FFP sorted. Whereas I think any other club isn't able to do that. And the reason they're not able to do that is because they're not like this. You know, they're not meeting Ali Al president and that and giving little golden handshakes. That's why.
Joe.
No, it's true,
Joe.
It's
Joe,
true,
you got to have the same energy, because that 25 million that Newcastle are getting from Saudi, in Newcastle really sponsorship 25 million. Southampton created a company in Thailand to sponsor them. Everybody in the Premier League is doing that.
I hear it. Yeah.
So just I'm gonna have the same energy. If it's not illegal, they're gonna be allowed to do it. If it's inflated prices, it can be investigated.
Nah, you know what needs to be investigated more time? They said it. David Cook said it right there. The Neves deal is the most the weird one.
Yeah.
That's
What
bizarre.
is
And
all about?
that, in my opinion, is where the inflated prices come from. Because people look at the Neves deal and say 50 million pound for Ruben Neves with 1 year left on his contract. Well, Koulibaly, Ziyech, whoever, with 4 years left on their contract, they're surely going to be a bit more. I know age and things like that come into it, but you can only go off previous fees in a situation like this, in my opinion. And that's where I think the inflated prices that people are coming up with, I believe that is where that's coming from.
So Billy, though, so what you're saying is Saudi Arabia should give back some money because you think they've overpaid?
I'm not saying that at all. No,
because we overpaid for Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish wasn't worth 100 million
every single year for every single player.
I disagree.
This is what I'm saying.
That's worth 6 million. We got it for 12.
Well, I'm just saying, like, this is the problem.
Billy ain't gonna have that. He's a Villa fan, Lewis.
Yeah, well, I got it all year last year.
100 million for Grealish was a steal.
Yeah, of course it was. Of course it was. Now, it's just one of these boys, man. Football's got more shady since FFP come in. We'd all be better without it. I swear down, right, when I was growing up, right, I was in, like, high school and college, and FFP wasn't a thing. All I used to speak about with my mates was football. And now it's just like, all anyone wants to talk about nowadays is who's dodging today. You know what I mean? This guy's doing this club's doing this. You know what I mean? And obviously, my club at the moment is dealing with it. And I just think, just scrap it all. If someone wants to spend £1 billion on a football club, let them spend £1 billion on a football club. What they should do is put protections in there to make sure that the club can't go bust. And you can do that by putting money into escrow accounts to make sure that if the owner decides that he's not going to put another penny in, you've got maybe like a year's worth of funds there to keep the club going where you can get someone else in. Let what will be. Let whoever spends the most money rise to the top, because what else are you going to do? You should get regulators into football, regulating transfer fees. Well, like I say, I've already exposed that. You're not going to be able to dictate what someone's worth, because let's be honest, Billy's saying he's worth 100 million, but I can guarantee the rest of us on the panel all agree
to Aston Villa.
To Aston Villa. So this is the point I'm making about Saudi Arabia. To Saudi Arabia, Ruben Neves might be worth 55 million quid.
Yeah, I get that, but in the grand scheme of football, in Premier League football, he isn't. There's no other team in the country, in the world.
Yeah, Neves is a ball.
He is absolutely, but with 1 year left on his contract, he's not worth 50 million.
Billy's right. Barcelona already reportedly agreed 25 million pounds for him. Xavi is pissed. Xavi's pissed already that he didn't get his player.
They're trying to rip us off 70 million for Mason Mount. That is crazy, right? 70 million for Havertz, that's crazy. Actually, so he was 30 and signed last year. He was 30 years old, not 29, and got his 4-year deal. And he signed him for 32 million. If I'm correct, most people said that's a great price. If this year, a year later, he hasn't had a good season, 20 to 25 million with 3 years left on his deal, that's not that sad considering the length of contract that's left. When you actually think about it, maybe Saudis don't want a bidding war, so they said, you know what, put down 20 million, maybe it might be in excess, or we get what we want. We don't want a bidding war, done.
Yeah, listen, there's two things here, right? There's two things that we will find out. What are the prices? Because no one knows how much they want these 4 players for. And is it just Chelsea? Are they going to go in for other players? Are they going to get... Because, Mo, you were talking earlier about players they want. You were talking about Arsenal players they want, potentially Man United players they want. So what do you see happening now, Mo, with this?
To be honest, I see them actually spending even more. They're talking about 20 billion investment in the next 5 years, guys. The reason, but people, guys, they want that because of the World Cup. It's not because they want to improve the league. They want to win the bid in 2030 because they saw how much money Qatar made and how much good image Qatar gave to the world for that World Cup, and they want to have the same thing. The Saudi Arabia, of course, everybody's talking about sports washing. I think, to be honest with you, I'm all for the Saudi league being good, but as an Arab, I feel like Europeans will never watch you. I grew up in Saudi Arabia 10 years.
Kaz is gonna get the subscription and everything.
Kaz probably is the only one. They're not gonna watch. They're not gonna. It's like the Chinese league. They tried it. It didn't work, but they didn't go that aggressive. And I think the Saudis maybe learned from that, and they're going even way more aggressive than the Chinese league. Maybe, but I feel this is overboard. To be honest, it's too much. I feel like the salaries, the wages, the 100 million to Ronaldo and the 100 million to Benzema. I think that's too much. To be honest.
Why do they care? It's not your money.
Exactly, man.
Pay the wages.
And bro, you
I
got to understand.
I don't want to get
Saudis have
political
cash.
about kingdoms and stuff, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I hear it, but I mean,
I'm not going to go into that.
Wage is this 375k for Marcus
It's the
Rashford?
people's money, bro.
Ridiculous.
It's the Saudi people's money.
Yeah,
Anyway, no, I'm not going to get political here. I'm not.
No, it's not about politics.
No,
bro.
no,
It's
no. There
about-
is. He's saying the money. Why you're mad about the money? It's for completely different thing. So
Yeah, but Saudi's like only what, two? How many hours ahead? Two?
they're 2 hours ahead of you, so you have a chance of watching them. So you're gonna tell me that you're gonna skip a Premier League game to watch them?
Well, I'm not
Play
being funny,
football?
but if there's a Monday night and I'm looking at Everton versus Nottingham Forest, I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that. I might watch it if there's loads of goals. I'm like, oh, wait, I'm not watching it. Or do I go on one and we'll go watch Benzema play with who's going to join him, like Riyad Mahrez or something like that? I'm watching that.
Imagine Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo, and 2 wingers, and Benzema forward. I'm watching that though. If they can get, listen, if they can invest in the younger players, yes. If they can go for the 27, 28 years old, yes. I doubt, like even Lukaku said, Saudi's off the table for him. He said, I'm not done with Europe yet, which is, I'm astonished that I thought this guy's like just after the money.
This
to be honest,
You want that? You want that, Mo? You want him gone for that?
He's not my player. I don't care. He's not my player. He's Chelsea player. It's their problem.
He's
We already
another
got
Chelsea
105
player.
million
How convenient.
Oh
pounds.
yeah,
It's
of course,
not
another
my-
Chelsea player. Sorry, yeah.
It's not my
Hospital, he's in Milan.
This is the deal of the century. We literally, they paid us 105 until I say, he's the player's back. Work with him.
I think
I'm okay with that.
you might get to fish out what players might get offered for the money if they get brave and want to go get 26, 27-year-olds, and what players actually want ambition to go win in Europe. So what,
Yeah,
it
facts.
might be
It'll
good
be
in
what-
that way.
So
what
maybe,
you
do we think Bernardo's going to go though?
Yeah, I was going to
for
say
that
it'll
much
be.
money?
Bernardo's
What
not
are you
going.
saying?
Bernardo go PSG, innit?
I think so as well. PSG can afford him.
I think that project is dead, Lewis.
Mahrez,
That project
Bernardo. There's a
PSG is
few
dead.
players, Man City as well, man. What are you
So
saying?
Luis
dude?
Enrique coming apparently, don't they? That might be a good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Bernardo's going to go there. The Mahrez one's a bit weird because he kind of put a little bit of a dampener on it the other day when he played for Algeria. But yeah, I mean, you check Riyad Mahrez, for example. He's won it all now. I mean, he's won it all in England. He's won, 4 or 5 Premier Leagues. He's won the treble. He's won the Champions League.
PFA
I mean,
player of the year as well.
Yeah, he's 31 years old. You know what I mean? They could go and get him, and fair fucks to the guy if he wants to go on a 600 grand a week tax.
Yeah, I hear that, LB, and I do. Some did say to me about there's a lot. So for me, someone like Riyad Mahrez, like you say, who's won everything, coming towards the twilight of his career, he'll go over there as a Muslim man and held to such high esteem. He'll be a god over there, right? I get that type of move. I do, honestly, I do. Benzema, Muslim as well, towards back end of his career, won it all. I get it. Go and be a god. It's amazing. What I'm seeing is when the ones don't really make sense. The Koulibaly one, I get. I think he might be Muslim as well.
He's
I
a
think
Muslim from Senegal. They're a Muslim country. It makes a lot of sense.
Are Muslim, by the way.
But what I'm saying is, them ones for me, and I might be wrong, they just don't make as much sense, and that's why I think it's
Which ones don't make sense?
The Chelsea ones. And again, it looks like I'm just looking at Chelsea here, but I get the Riyad Mahrez narrative, winning it all on the back of a treble, going over there. I get the Benzema one. I'm just not feeling the others. I don't think there's that.
Well, like Ziyech, bro. Ziyech is 30 years old. He's fucking stonks are on the ground. He can't do nothing now. He's no decent team in Europe picking him up. Just go and see out your days in Saudi, man.
It's not
That's
even
what
that.
they're gonna do, man. That's what they're gonna do.
Capacese done something with Mina. I'm not too sure what was this guy. I think the Athletic or something like that. And he said it's great, but football's a short career. I'm going over there to secure my money for the generational wealth. So what do you want to do? Do you want generational wealth for the next few years of your life, or do you want to build a legacy? And I'm not going to be funny, Muslim or not. I'm going over there.
Yeah,
that's the way I look
get
at it.
that as well.
Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm not begrudging the players here. I understand it. It's hard to turn down.
Do you know what? They're already successful because we're sitting here. I've been sitting. This is my third show of the day, and I'm talking about them. They're successful already.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Yeah,
they succeeded
No, you're
already.
right.
We're
You're
talking
right.
about
You're
them.
right. Everyone's talking about it.
Look at Saudi. Look at Dubai and everything. Saudi's restrictions are like you said it yourself. Like the restrictions are loosening a little bit, where they're going to make it into such a a great place to go to. There's Dubai. There's Qatar. There's all these places. It's the new go-to locations. The next thing you're going to want. Cool. I've got all the new SeaWorld and the rest of it, which looks mental, by the way. They got drones for lights and all sorts coming out. And next thing they're going to want is the sporting projects, because maybe their times of their leagues, I don't know when it starts, to be fair. It might start in a time where you're on holiday, maybe. I don't know. But
they have infrastructure, guys. People don't understand that they have great stadiums, they have infrastructure, they have youth system that is really good. They have money, they pay a lot of money for the youth people.
I might want to go over there, Mo, in September. Guess who I get to watch? I get to watch Cristiano Ronaldo. Versus Benzema.
Tourism. Yeah, you're right.
Yes,
you have a great point.
It looks like it's happening. It looks like it's happening, man. That's for sure. Before I come to Billy Lou, I got to ask you, man. There'll be City always buy someone big, right? You spoke about Grealish, Haaland. Who's it going to be this year, man? Or are you just going to not go down that route now because you've done everything? What's going to happen, man?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a weird one, man, because our transfer like rumours are all over the place. We've had Walker. In fact, it's just come out now that City have no intention of selling Walker, so that's good. We need a midfielder, but do we need a midfielder if Gundogan signs? Maybe not. We're going to sign Gvardiol. Yeah, Kovacic is a great signing, but he's going to be a squad player. Gvardiol coming in is going to be probably the big one. So you're probably looking at 80 million quid there. Ideally, I want a winger as well, a right winger who can kick the ball with his right foot. So yeah, Gvardiol will be our most expensive signing, probably 85 million quid. Get Kovacic in for what, 35, and then probably a winger. And it'll probably be a backup winger, so you're probably looking at 30 to 40 million quid for there. So yeah, probably looking at around, 150, 60 spend. And if you sell Laporte, you sell Bernardo, you sell a couple of youth players, net spend trophies coming back to the Etihad again, man. So we can't compete with some of these clubs.
Don't say that. Liverpool fans going to be on your neck.
We cannot compete.
Lewis, I heard Allardyce in the podcast saying that you're gonna might offer Calvin Phillips for Declan Rice, which is it aligns with what Fabrizio said earlier today. He just said it half an hour ago. He said Declan Rice, if you go into the race of Declan Rice, that will change the fate of Kovacic.
No.
So that aligns with what Allardyce said. No. Do you want it though? Do you want it?
Nah, I said this morning. Rice, man, I just don't know how he's fit into our team very much. I don't think he's
instead of Stones next to Rodri in that area.
I don't know, man. I don't know, because I don't know what we're going to do next year. I can't see at the moment where he would play. You know what I mean? I don't know where he would play, and I think the main thing for us is getting someone who's better going forward, because we lose when Gundogan plays. You're seeing him as a clutch player going forward, getting goals and assists. He can chip in, and that's why we've been so successful over the last couple of years. So I think we need someone a little bit.
Do you not think Rodri, Rice, and KDB could be a three in midfield? Do you not think that would work?
No. It wouldn't work against the Etihad when teams come and put 11 players on the edge of the box. You need that extra little bit of quality, man, going forward.
Thinking about Gvardiol, if they buy Gvardiol, I think for that particular link, they stick to the three in the back. They stick, like, Gvardiol will be wicked on that left centre back. Would be fantastic. One of the best in that area. Maybe I think if they get Gvardiol, they're going to stick to that. That means Kovacic is going to step in for John Stones. Maybe John Stones go back to be center back again. And then they will have five back again. And then they'll have Kovacic next to Rodri. Kovacic is more advancing than Stones, in my opinion. Like, he can carry the ball. He can contribute forward more than Stones, in my opinion. And he offers something, and I said that before, that he offers something that City don't have, which is that the guy that can carry the ball 30, 40 yard glides past players. They don't have that a lot. They rely more on passings and moving between the lines, Man City. Kovacic provides something completely different that they don't have. Maybe Rice, kind of similar, a little bit. I've seen that in West Ham. He drives with the ball. The ball's good at his feet. He does that for England as well. So maybe that's why they're linked to both. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't think we'll be getting Rice, though.
Can I just throw my because I'm always going to back him as well, because obviously Calvin's my boy, but I think he'll be given time, right? Like, I'm not comparing the two players here, but everyone was saying Grealish was a flop last season, and now look at him. So I think Calvin needs a little bit of time. He's had a few injuries, he's had a few weight issues, and that. The kid's a baller, and I think Pep will eventually get a tune out of him. He's on a 6-year deal, big money as well. So
I agree.
And Calvin as a human, as a person, is awesome. Like, he's never going to upset the apple cart at City or anything like that. So he just fits like a hand in a glove. I think he'll come good at City. But I'm going to
say back. Take him back.
Big Steve said that as well. Big Steve was lucky enough the players dragged him. He dragged him into the VIP area He's like, there's that shot, get him in. Haaland already knows him and all this kind of stuff. And he spoke with Calvin Phillips and he said he is the nicest guy
man.
he's
honestly.
ever spoken to in his life. But he told him what he feels as a fan for him, and he knows it as well. He sounds like he can take constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't, I'm pretty sure he'd have been out the door by now.
totally
Right? It's test of mentality, isn't it? Pep called him out.
I hope Rice goes Arsenal, man. I don't
I
want Rice
like-
Man City.
I like Phillips. I rate him a lot. Not many people do, but I do personally.
Yeah, I do. I rate him. I think he's a
No,
quality
you
player.
don't, man.
It's
No,
only
you don't.
injuries.
No, you
Nah, I
don't.
do,
You
bro. It's
Rice.
only injuries, isn't it?
He's better Rice than Phillips overall. He's a better footballer.
Rice is better than Phillips, man.
This
Come
is
on.
what I mean. I'm done.
Actually,
Oh, come on, man.
forget
Kaz,
last year,
what
Dan.
are you
Forget
telling
last
me?
year.
He's a better
Before
footballer.
that, Calvin Phillips at England, I think he had the more impact than Declan Rice.
I hate
When
when
they
Rice.
He's
played
not a
next-
better player.
When they
Rice.
played next to each
No,
other,
Rice
I
is
thought Calvin
better.
Phillips had more impact at that time. Maybe we're really recency bias and we're looking at last year at Man City and he didn't play. But his time at Leeds, he was great. And also being coached under Marcelo Bielsa is a big plus. It's a massive thing. Like he learned a lot from him. I believe that.
Yeah, no, I like him a
I-
lot. Don't get me wrong, but Kaz also told me once that Skip's better than Rice. So this is.
I never said that. I never said
This is the sort of thing.
I didn't say
No,
that.
I listened to
man.
I listened to Filthy Fellas, and Antonio was on there, and he said that Rice is better than Rodri. He was like, he can do everything.
Okay.
I know. He said he can do
Oh,
everything
dear.
as good as Rodri.
I love
what
Rice.
Rodri-
but
Plus
no,
more.
Rodri,
I heard that.
Rodri's the best
what
for me in the
Rodri
world.
doesn't have is the ball carrying ability that Mo was touching on
What do you
earlier.
mean
And that's
he
what
can't do the
Antonio
ball?
said.
Antonio's-
That's what Antonio said.
That's like Gary Neville saying. That's like Gary Neville, Roy Keane saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had the minerals to take Man United to the next step, even though he's clearly failing. That's just
Yeah,
a load of crap.
Yeah.
For me, I
Good
will never
listen, though.
take
It was
an
a good
opinion.
listen.
I never take an opinion from football player because I know that they don't watch football. I know that.
A lot of
No,
people-
seriously. By the way, they
To
don't
be
watch
fair, Antonio
football.
doesn't even support a club, so yeah, he probably doesn't watch
Yeah.
football.
Most of them actually they play football and everything, but they don't watch other teams. They don't have time to do it. They practice every day, and I doubt that Antonio actually watched Rodri as many times as we did. Probably.
No, I don't agree with it. I'm just saying.
No, I don't agree with it at all. Rodri for me
No.
is.
Rodri just won the
number
treble,
one.
scored the winning goal in the Champions League
Yeah,
final, and then
exactly.
dropped a man of the match in the semi-final and the final of the UEFA Nations League. So
Yeah, and that goal against Bayern Munich, by the way, was cold, man. That was Jesus Christ, unreal.
yeah. He's probably in
this
top
is-
5 for the Ballon d'Or nominations if you think about it. All the stuff
That'd be
he's done
fair.
this
That'd
year.
be fair as well. He is class, man. I think he's world class. World class.
If Jorginho was,
Yeah, I know. Let's not go on that guy. I'm gonna come to Kaz in a minute, but Billy, Rashford is signing a new deal with Manchester United for 375k a week.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. What's your thoughts on that, Bill? Is that a good move for United? Is that crazy money? What are you saying?
It's a good move for United to get him signed down on a new contract. It's crazy money, though. Crazy money. He's a very, very good player. Don't get me wrong, but you know it's only the upper echelon players, your Haalands, your De Bruyne's, that should be on that kind of money. If on that kind of money at all, I think that's just ridiculous. If I'm being honest.
Well, if they can afford it, Kaz, then they've got to do it, I suppose, if you want to keep Rashford, isn't it?
It's not my money, man. Who cares? But no, I do care. I don't like it because the whole narrative around Man United is like, why are you giving out so much wages to players that don't deserve it? Jadon Sancho on something ridiculous similar to that. So why would you give it to him? I don't understand how you bring in this guy from Adidas, by the way. He's some sick sporting negotiator or whatever. And then all of a sudden through the marketing, as soon as it comes down to negotiations, because that's what you're being brought in to do is the negotiating, right? Through the contracts and the rest of it. And you say, yeah, you know what's a good deal? Marcus Rashford, you want 200k. How about I double it? How does that make any sense? I'm like, yes, you had one good year. And if we talk about year, yes, you had a good seven in that stint, maybe a good few months or so. He doesn't warrant that contract if that is the case. For me personally, if he said, you know what, 200k and then there's up to 300k in bonuses and stuff like that, or 325, because bonuses can be ridiculous sometimes. But if you're saying base wage and he said something up to like 275, yeah, because what happens after 4 years or 5 year deal goes on? You're gonna have to give him a better contract by then. He'd be 30 years old. He might be in the top of the world. You never know. And you're like, what are you gonna do now? I'm not.
Go to Saudi, man. Go to Saudi, man.
Personally, if you're offering Rashford 375k as your base salary, I would let him. I would release him next year. Personally, I'd be like, no, go then. I don't want that sort of person in my ranks. Just let him go then. Because I just feel like there's so many left wingers out there that are talented, that are probably better footballers than this guy. And I like Rashford a lot. I want him to stay. He's part of the academy and he's been through it. But Rashford, there you are.
I've been told, Kaz, that if Man United didn't offer him, somebody else will come and offer him that much money. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, go next year. I don't care. On a free. I don't care. You came through for free. Go on a free. We don't need the money no more.
I was going to ask you that though, Cass, and I agree with Mo. Who's going to actually say, like, if you did go with that stance, who's going to give him that money? PSG, that's it. And he's been linked in the past.
Yeah, no, if someone offered me 70 million plus his whatever for Marcus Rashford after the year, because if you got 1 year left on his contract, and I'm seeing Mason Mount for go for 70 million, Kane for 120 million, all these players, then give me 70, 80 million for PSG if you want to get rid of your Mbappe, and then I'll take it in a heartbeat. I think there's some very good players out there.
Well, he wouldn't go PSG. If United give him a decent wage, you know what I mean, which he's already probably on anyway, he's not going to leave Man United. He's a United boy. He's 25. He just got back in the Champions League. Things are looking nicer for United. I think he's just going to get off. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary for United to give him that much money. And what happens, probably doesn't sound like this year, but maybe if they do go this year or maybe next summer, they go big on a big player. Then what they're going to do then? Because they're going to have to give him more than... Because let's not get twisted. Rashford's a good player. He's not world class. He's not a world class player. He's a good player. So what happens when United sign a world class player? If they're that player's just going to go, well, hang on a minute. Rashford's on 375. I'm a world class player. I want 400, 450. It's unnecessary.
Rodri, yeah. Let's talk about Rodri quick. And the man's won the Champions League and he's on like 120k per week.
Yeah, that's a defensive midfielder. That's not a left winger. Look at Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish.
300k? What do you mean?
Compare him to Jack Grealish, guys. Compare him to Jack Grealish.
Jack Grealish is like 300k. Yeah. The thing is, Jack Grealish won. He's older than him, and to be fair, he just won a treble. You know what? You can't knock him no more because I'm a fan of Grealish. To be fair, and yes, he might be overpaid on the wages a little bit because it's English tax, whatever you want to call it. But he doesn't warrant this much money. That's all I'm trying to say. And
I agree with you. I think you should get the same as.
You know what my worry is? It's not about the money. It's about Manchester United PTSD. Once they've got that bag in their bank and going in every week, they just don't care after that as much as they would do if you're trying to chase it. And that's my only concern because I've seen Rashford's mentality, you could say, or his old demeanor waver completely to the point I wanted him out of the club last season. And now he's had his comeback. I just don't want it to ruin him. To be fair, though, if he comes next season and he gets that 300k, if it is to be true, and he's banging in goals per week and he's putting in good... So, fair enough. Fair enough. Doing a Champions League for me, then fair enough.
So I have the same energy that I had for Saka. When Saka signed the contract for 180 plus 100 bonuses, people said, why? And I said, if Arsenal want to keep that winning team, that team that will go and win them the league, as per se, yes, you pay him the money, but to pay that much money for someone like Marcus Rashford, who has had a little bit of a dip in form in a couple of seasons, and he had one season good, one bad, one great this year, I think that cuts the way for somebody else, as Lewis said, to come in. It's just you're set to have Marcus Rashford as your left winger for the next 5 years. That's it.
Do you know what? The narrative smells on this part, yeah, because I've been a culprit for it. Of course, I jumped on the Saka bandwagon. 300k, what are you doing there, man? I did it because I'm shameless. But when I've changed for the transfer window to be more fair, why are we all of a sudden adding bonuses onto their contracts now and doing it just so it can suit an agenda or narrative? I don't know why it applies to only certain players, because if we want to talk about bonuses, guess what? Like, I guarantee, like, I know Haaland's probably on mad bonuses plus his wage packet, you know, and all this kind of stuff. But we don't add that on. We don't do that. No one knows this stuff. It's all behind the scenes.
Yeah, but it's public. Like, Saka's one is 288k a week, including bonuses.
So, like players, when they get a transfer fee done for them, Darwin Núñez 65 million, because they want to say, yeah, Anthony's 100 million. I'm like, no, this 80 plus 5. But when it comes to Darwin Núñez, I said, you know what? I'm going to change my tune. Actually, no, he costs actually 80 million pounds, but that's bonuses. All of a sudden, we add bonuses just because we got an arsehole about something.
So how much is Rashford on? Allegedly, reportedly.
They're
250?
He might be on. I reckon.
Currently now, yeah, I'm on Capology, right? And it's he's on 200k right now. Right?
That's it.
That's
full
bonuses.
Yeah, that's right now with what 2 years left. So obviously, if he then gets, I mean, David De Gea is on 375 top earner. So do you think that
Jesus.
Rashford? Do you think Rashford deserves to be on the same as that? You would have to say no. You would have to say yes. Sorry, in terms of his importance to the side, right?
De Gea's about to get let go on a free, by the way, because we can't sign him a new deal because we're trying to half his wage and he's not agreeing.
Of course he's not. Of course he's not going to agree.
And that's great for me. That's great for me.
Saudi.
Just when you were on about that, because I had a look. Obviously, Copology is an awesome site. Aside of De Bruyne and Haaland, the next 3 top earners at City is Grealish, Stones, Foden. So even they're like ahead of Rodri and Ruben Dias, etc. It's mad, really. When
Rodri's going to sign a new. Remember, Rodri only signed 3 years ago for them, so he will. His wages increase. But again, I'm looking at Rashford, and I think he's thinking Raheem Sterling, 350k from Chelsea. I want that money. Why I don't deserve that much money? I think
we're not Chelsea.
That money. We have to have a benchmark, and I don't know where the benchmark is. Is it Saka? Is it Grealish? Is it Man City? I wanted a salary. I think salary cap. As the UEFA president said that the top clubs already agreed to that. It's a salary cap, not for the players. It's for the club, and it's based on your earning. You keep saying no. I'm just telling you what he said.
You're so predictable,
you
man.
keep saying no.
You're so predictable, man.
So you want a salary cap based on what? Earnings, revenue?
So it's instead of having that financial fair play, you do it like the American way. It's like you salary cap. That means you go ahead and sign Mbappe for a 100 million or whatever. You go sign Mbappe, give him 100,000 a week. It's up to you. Sorry, $1 million a week. It's up to you. But you have a salary cap based on your earning for your club, for your squad. So it's up to you if you want to sign 25 crap players and 1 superstar, or you want to divide that wage. And I think that provides. I think that's fair for a lot of clubs.
Nah, because that's just FFP dressed up again. If a rich person,
why is that FFP?
Because you've just said it's linked with the revenue. So if say Brentford, get bought tomorrow by some rich Donny, he's gonna come in, he's gonna want to go bang, 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 bang. I can't.
He can't do that.
No, you just said it's linked to the revenue.
He cannot do that because he's not gonna have the revenue. He needs to build this club. I think that salary cap gives you a chance to be built slowly.
Okay, so a club like Luton is never going to get to a position where it's got £600 million in revenue. The only way Luton are going to win the Champions League is by outside investment. They're not going to be able to build that club to be getting £600 million revenue. So
I mostly said it, Lewis, just cut it. I do streams of Mo every single day. This guy wants it because his club can't compete with Premier League, and he knows it. They want 200. His best player is on like 180k or something like Barella or whatever, right? That's the only reason why, because a Premier League club like Man City, like, you want 200.
It's not me saying it, guys.
I
can send you the video, bro. It's not me saying it. Again, it's not me saying it. Nobody can compete with the Premier League. I just feel like these salaries are getting out of hand, and clubs cannot compete.
You're like the more refined version of D from Crystal Palace. You say, "Oh, you stupid." He said, "You say smart."
You just don't want that because you know that the Qataris are coming to your club.
Oh, it's not the fact. It's not the fact.
If you didn't have the Qataris coming, you would scream fairness. Oh my God, people are spending so much money.
Got him.
Would scream that. Anyway, whatever.
Man, it's mad. It's mad. It is gonna go mad. Joe, I'm hearing in this chat, and I don't know how true this is, that Darren Moore is being sacked.
It's BS, man. I don't know what's going on, man. I feel that
Darren Moore's been sacked and he's going to leave.
By the way, I like that a lot. I think he's underrated.
Nah, not for me.
Darren Moore to Leeds, Joe. What do you reckon?
Bro? No, not for me. Listen, I feel almost like a bit of a charlatan being on here talking about an EFL club. It is what it is, but you know what I mean. Listen, we've been taken over by the 49ers. They're probably showing us how a football club should operate because there's literally no news coming out. Like it's so quiet, but they're obviously making moves in the background. There was talk as a director of football, then all of a sudden we got that Nick Hammond. Like no one knew about it before, and he was the guy that went in at Newcastle early doors and helped them bring in Bruno Guimaraes, Trippier and all that. So obviously he knows what he's doing. He's coming at Leeds. That happened like that. So it's frustrating because at the minute we're like, who's the manager? When's it going to be? But we're not hearing anything. But I'd imagine it'll just go through. Disappointed about Iriola because we were linked with him last season when we sacked Marsh, but he didn't want to leave Rayo Vallecano, who's just got in at Bournemouth.
They will play some good stuff next season, by the way. You know, he's a bit of a Bielsa disciple, played under him and plays a very good style of football. But yeah, Premier League, law of it. We're no longer a Premier League club. I want Daniel Farke at this point. He's got promotion out of the Championship twice, won the league twice. So yeah, go get him.
I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Who?
No, go back about 10 seconds.
Why?
Leeds aren't a what?
Shut up, man. It is what it is. Man. It's all good, bro. Man City won the treble, so I'm happy. That's all.
Yeah,
yours is gone.
And guess what? Man United still get spoken about more than their treble.
Nah.
Daniel Farke, yeah, is he still the guy?
Mate, he's won the league twice. We need to get out of it, so just give him the job.
Scott
Would you have
Parker
preferred
as well.
Brendan?
Brendan Rodgers, yeah. We apparently pushed for him, but he went for the easy route, didn't he? He decided to. It's too much. It was too much of a risk for him. Like, this is the thing, Leeds fans. I keep telling them, I get history and all that sort of stuff, but we're an EFL club, so people are saying, "Oh, Iriola, I can't believe he's chose Bournemouth," and well, he was always going to choose Bournemouth. They're a Premier League club. Like, this is the thing. For me, we have to go to the Championship. Apparently, we all thought it was done, right? But Gerrard has come out and said, I'm not in talks with the Saudi club. And that worries me because he's been linked a few times. I don't want Gerrard in the Championship. I don't want Vieira. Leeds fans keep saying Vieira, but I don't want Vieira. I want someone who's tried and tested. Daniel Farke is tried and tested. He's
Dean
won the
Smith?
league twice. No, forget Dean Smith.
Wait, do you mean the old Norwich
Yeah,
manager?
yeah, the German guy. Yeah.
Nah, he's arse and cheeks, man. Forget that. I think you could do better.
Why not Vieira, man? That's interesting. Why not Vieira?
Nah, he's rubbish, bro.
Is he rubbish?
LB, before he went Palace and had one good season, he did nothing, no? He went New York City, rubbish, I believe. He got sacked over in France, I believe.
Nice.
He got sacked at Nice. He then went to Palace,
He
and
did
I
well
remember
at Palace,
saying,
though, Joe. He did all right at Palace.
yeah, but bro,
He did
right,
all right,
okay, yeah,
nice.
he had a good period, right? He then broke a record, right, for the least or no shots on target for consecutive games. Then Roy Hodgson walks in there. He starts playing Eze. I mean, why you would not play Eze, I do not know. And then they just steamroll away. I don't rate Vieira. That's just my opinion.
My problem with Vieira is that he wants to play a brand of football that doesn't suit his players. He thinks he coaches Man City. Like when he was coaching Crystal Palace, he wanted to play a certain brand of football, play from the back and everything. And he didn't have the players to do that. That's why they were always making mistakes at the back. They couldn't get out of press. When I went and watched them, the fans next to me, they said exactly this. Like, why we're not playing the football that we are? We are a mid-table team. Why we're trying to play like Man City and Liverpool? And I think that's his problem. And I think if he goes to Leeds, he's going to
run of games Vieira had was harsh. No one spoke about it.
No, Brighton. Sorry, they've got the players in. It's taken them a little. They're playing mint football. So sometimes you just have to be brave, man, and just be like, you know what, I'm going to play this.
But he tried
it
for a season, Lewis, and it didn't work.
That's one season, bro. You got to give him more than a season.
Well, the Zerbi didn't take him more than.
No, but he already had the team there because he already had the Potter side. So that's a little bit. That's not fair. You know what I mean? If you bring a manager in to play that style, you can't just be like it's going to happen overnight because it's not going to happen overnight.
Do you know what? Though? What I would say to that though, right? We have this perceived notion that Roy Hodgson's a dinosaur, right? Remember that Crystal Palace didn't have a shot on target for 4 consecutive games. Roy Hodgson goes in there and spanks Leeds United 5-1. Yeah, shot on target.
He didn't play Leeds United. If you see Vieira's them 12 games that everyone bangs on.
No,
about
I hear that, bro. I hear it.
Games were disgusting.
Yeah,
I hear it.
There we go.
But they also broke a record for no shots on target. Like,
yeah, that was poor.
The Premier League.
Yeah, that was poor. That is poor.
I swear Vieira also benched Eze and everything like that.
Yeah, he did. He benched Eze.
That was a mistake.
That's on Vieira, to be fair. And I think that was just more manager bounce than Roy Hodgson. I feel like it's not that Crystal Palace are bad. They're nowhere near bad. They got great players. They just needed someone that probably understands their feelings a little bit more, maybe.
Vieira, for me, he did well. He got Palace to Wembley semi-final. And then, for me, it went wrong when he had City, Liverpool, Arsenal, United, Chelsea, all these guys all in a row. And then they were like, if he uses the next one, he's going to go. He lost the next one. He went. And then Hodgson went and beat Leeds, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Everton. And everyone went, oh, this guy's a genius again. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute.
It might be a similar thing to Bielsa and Jesse Marsh when he was sacked and appointed. When you stayed up on the last game of the season, because Bielsa had a tough run of fixtures. And then just as they sacked him, they had a few winnable games. And
I don't like to
Could be
speak
a
about that
similar thing.
American man. The worst thing. That ever happened.
I don't know why you'd want
just,
Daniel
just a
Farke,
little.
man.
Do we
You
think
think-
Graham Potter is on the table for Leeds at all?
Nah.
No.
Why not? He's out of
He
job.
won't,
don't know, I don't
why
know,
not? I
actually.
don't think
I don't
he'd
know,
go
actually.
down to the championship.
Like,
I don't
do we
know.
think he's gonna get a? Do we think he's gonna get a like a top 10 team in
Probably
the next
not,
year
no.
or something? No,
think-
nobody's gonna take the risk again. So
Leeds
why
should
not?
still get
Have
Neil
these
Warnock.
new owners got any money, Joe? 'Cause I don't know.
The 49ers. It's mad, really, because it's sort of they have like it's not the 49ers, it's the 49ers Enterprises. So basically, what they'll do is ask for a round of funding. Yeah. So say they bought the club. So you'll have seen, well, you might not have seen, but Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, and Justin Thomas, the three golfers have put money in. Do you know what I mean? And then we've got a couple of NBA players, and there's a high-ranking Washington DC
FSG.
official.
So FSG
Huh?
basically.
Yeah,
basically,
similar to that, bro. Yeah. So they're going to throw money at it. And
Well, if they
they've got
put money
more
in, why
money.
wouldn't Potter go there?
I just don't. I think it for me,
Yes,
and this is
class.
why I think what.
He has class about him. Like, he has a bit,
Well,
you know.
I'll have you know, mate. I'll have you know, right, Cass, that Graham Potter started his managerial career at Leeds United Carnegie, bro. At Leeds United
I know all
Carnegie.
about that. He's managed. He's gone. It's far back. I've done my research, especially on the international for women's teams and all sorts. But
Graham
Graham
Potter
Potter,
was shortlisted for Bournemouth and they didn't pick him.
I think Graham Potter should have went Leeds. To be fair, I think it'd been a good. I think that'd been a great match.
I'd love him, bro.
I thought you should have went Leicester or maybe even Leicester, but I think Leeds is a better project. New ownership, but look what happened. New ownership. Graham Potter didn't exactly go great, did it?
He probably
I think
want a
it's too
Prem
much of a
team,
risk
wouldn't
for
he?
him. I think it's too much of a risk at this moment in time to drop. It's same with Rodgers. If he'd have dropped to the EFL and it don't go well at Leeds, then where's the stock?
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the problem.
Promoted, go get Neil Warnock. It's great at it.
Shut up, Cass, man. Scott,
That's your-
Nah, shut up, man. We've had him before anyway, and it didn't go well. But Cass, you're just winding up now. I'm not biting.
Listen, man.
So do you think you're gonna keep your squad though, Joe?
Nah, mate.
Nah,
The
Yeah,
likes
you'll-
of
you'll lose a few.
Nyonto, the likes of Rodrigo, the centre back,
No,
the very good centre back, the guy with the black hair.
I
What's
can't
his
stand
name?
him, bro. You can take him, Robin Flassy.
Robin Koch.
Robin Koch.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
what I
stand
thought.
him, bro.
No, not this
Max
guy. The other
Wober.
guy.
Max Wober.
Stroy.
Wober.
Yes, I
Stroy.
think so.
Well,
Yes,
Strike,
that-
Patrick Strike.
Strike.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Pascal
Ver-
Stroud. He's.
Verba is
Are they
shit.
staying in the
Yeah, I
championship
agree
though?
with
Are
that,
they
Cass.
staying
You'll
in the championship?
You'll lose
No, we'll lose a
Nonto,
lot.
you'll lose Harrison, you'll lose maybe
I'm
Tyler
not
Adams.
so sure on Nonto, you know. I'm not so sure on Nonto because he doesn't have a release clause. A lot of them do. So, say Robin Koch, for example, he's allowed to go out on a loan, and he's only
terrible, Joe. He's awful.
got. Yeah, he's only got.
His
Well, he's
man,
been
his
linked to
parents
Man
hate him,
United,
man.
so Cass sits there. He's been linked to Man United, man. Oh,
Man United are like, we get linked with everybody. That guy there is we're not linked with this guy. We're not linked with this guy. Nah,
He's
nah,
on the
not with
list. He's on the list.
that. He's on. Man, that guy. Nah, I'd rather.
No,
have
but the
Mertz.
thing is, with Robin Koch, he's allowed to leave on loan, so you're only paying his wages for a year because he's only got 1 year left. So in effect, he's going to leave Leeds United on a free. So there's a few Premier League clubs that are maybe looking at that and say, well, we're only going to have to pay his wages and then we can get him on a free. And before he came to Leeds, he was a German international. He's just been pants.
You need to
LB,
start
would
with that, man.
you take Nonto? You want a winger?
To be honest with you, bro, I ain't really seen that much of him, man. So I
I think
can't
he's
really.
quality, man. I think
taking
he's
him.
quality.
I've just not seen enough of him, bro. So I can't really say, man. To be honest with you.
Mo don't like him. I can see.
I love
He's
him.
all right. He's a
love
mid
him. I want him.
lower
I
table
want him.
player, to be honest. The
No, he's
player that
not.
I rate, is Tyler Adams, to be honest. That can benefit some teams.
You called him
Benefit.
rubbish the other day. What you on about him and
Not
Rock?
rubbish. I didn't call him rubbish. I said this is not the midfielder that will take you to win the league. I said he's a good addition. Aston Villa can have him. The Derby can have him. As for you, as a squad player, and you remember, I said if Liverpool are linked with Tyler Adams,
You said
with
it's done.
whatever they're gonna get, this is not what's gonna win you the league. This
So why is
not-
it good
I
enough
said
for
he's
Aston Villa
okay.
then? Aston Villa got better DMs than him. Kamara's way better than him, and then so is what's his name?
Douglas Luiz. You think
Yes.
Douglas
Yeah,
Luiz
but
is better
we need-
than him?
Is better
Oh,
than him.
100% Douglas Luiz is better than him. 100%.
I'm thinking Douglas Luiz
So
at Man
I think
United.
they're both
What
similar. I think
we
Tyler
need
Adams
at
has more
Villa
energy
is,
than Douglas
is
Luiz. I
strength
like
and
him.
depth.
Go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
We need strength and depth, and he is the player. Tyler Adams is the player that is the Boubacar Kamara replacement because we don't have one at the minute. Dendonk is our best replacement for him, and he's not good enough for that role. No, we've got Douglas Luiz replacement if he was to get injured in Yuri Tielemans. You know, with Europe, we're going to be swapping out these players every week or so now. So we need a good squad, and Tyler Adams fits in as that missing piece for when Kamara needs a rest or gets injured.
I think
don't-
Tyler Adams also to Brighton because they're gonna lose. They
That's
already
come
lost
out.
2 midfielders, so
That
maybe he
that-
replaces Caicedo though.
Possibly.
That has come out in the last couple of hours, mate. To be fair, so we'll wait and see. There'll be many.
You won't get rid of everyone, Joe, but I reckon they're the ones that you'll look at. You're going to keep.
Get rid of
Unfortunately,
Luke
you're going to have
Hayes,
you're going to have
awful.
Patrick Bamford up front, man. Unfortunately for you, bro. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
We're gonna have
It's
to
gonna
go out and get a number 9. I'd love that Gyökeres, but I think he'll go Premier League. Wolves maybe.
West Ham as well, I think, are interested, aren't they?
Is it? There you go. Well, I'd take
Yeah.
Danny Ings. But again, I don't know.
It's
No,
terrible.
you don't like Gnotto, by the way. You don't like Gnotto? Are you being serious?
Me?
Who, me?
Yeah, no, Mo. You didn't like Gnotto.
He's okay for me, to be honest.
He's 19 as
okay.
well, you
He's
know.
okay for me.
Nah, he's wicked. I'm taking my heartbeat, man.
I think he's
To
quality,
be
man.
honest,
I like.
he's
Ollie,
good.
man.
He isn't like. For
Yo,
me,
Mo, who do you support?
I
No
don't
one at this
support.
point.
I don't support anybody in the Premier League.
But go on. Who do you support though?
Inter.
Okay,
Back.
so where did Nonto start his career, and who did they let him go for next to nothing?
Did they let him go to
Zurich?
Belgium or something like this when he was 16,
who from though?
17?
Who from though?
I can't remember. I don't remember.
From
Maybe
Inter Milan, bro. From Inter Milan.
I never follow the
So
youth
Inter
teams
had
because
him.
we have
Inter
a
had him.
project.
I was
He's
thinking
not
maybe
good.
this is a little bit a bitterness you were saying because Inter had him. And
No,
let
no,
him
I
go.
really didn't know. I don't.
Oh,
know.
right, okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
Because we have a project called "Fuck Them Youth" in our club. We literally have a project that's called "Fuck Them Youth." We sold our best player, Casadei, to Chelsea for only 15 million.
You let him go to Zurich for next to nothing, and then we picked him up from Zurich for about 3.5, I think.
Dude,
I think he's
absolutely
decent.
have no I don't follow any of the youth team because
Ah,
Inter
fair.
we don't promote youth at all.
But
Only
that's-
Balotelli in the last 15 years. Only Balotelli. And we sold him to City.
He was one of the bright sparks that came through in terms of wingers. Him and Mitoma for me. I looked at and thought, yeah, you two are sick.
I'm
I-
astonished that the panel, you guys think that Nyonto can play for a top 16.
No, I think he could be
in the squad, I think he would. In the squad, I think he would.
The squad,
In
yeah,
the
yeah,
squad.
yeah.
I think he would in the squad.
We don't have at the moment. I forgot that Bastoni come from
Atalanta.
Atalanta, isn't it? So wait, what
Yeah,
happened?
but
to
we paid 35 for at 20 years old. 35
He's
million
quality,
euros.
man. Bastoni's sick, man. He's quality. He's quality. Listen, guys, we're going to love you and leave you there and wrap it up. Absolute legends as ever for coming on. Billy, big up yourself, bro. Thank you so much, man. Make
Pleasure
sure you
as always,
go follow Billy at AV Billy and Total Screamers. Big up Kaz. Make sure you go follow Kaz LB on City Extra as well. Just Joe, you know where he is. Down in the championship next season, he'll be doing his watch-alongs as ever. Big up, Joe. Love you, man. And Judge Mo, get over and watch his content. Get over to Never a Foul. You'll see both Kaz and Mo on
just
there as
argument,
well.
really. Just arguing.
Yeah, just arguing, and we like arguing and we like debating. It's all good. Make sure you do us a favor, people. Make sure you smash a like. Make sure you hit me over to my next target, which is 10K. By hitting the subscribe. We're going to be here every night. I've got a show later on at 10 o'clock, so I'm going to be doing some transfer talk and roundup. Go on, Joe. You feel like you're going to say
Yeah,
something.
no, just LB, do you know you've got a bit of a cult following at Leeds United?
What City? On me?
No,
personally?
you personally.
What's he
Alright.
done? What's he done?
What have I done?
Nah, so the Square Ball podcast, right, which is our top elite, like top draw fanzine, and they do a show called what's it called? Anyway, basically what they do is they listen to opposing fans, and is it your pal who you do it with?
Nick Jordan, yeah.
So they love your accents and they play you guys all the time. Genuinely, everyone knows you. So I'm going to send you the link after and you'll see. But you've got a bit of a, you're well known within the Leeds fan base, bro, is what I'll say.
It's not a good thing, don't worry.
It is.
That's quite good, man. Look at that. Lewis has no idea.
I'm going
As
to
well.
send you
You
the
can see
link.
his face.
Yeah, it's like shit. But I'm going to send it, yeah. But, all I can think is you's going flames in the chat, bro, because that's how you say it. That's what they play all the time, man. It's class. Propaganda, that's what it's called. I'll send you the link anyway.
Yeah, man.
Love that, man. Love that. Listen, people, smash a like on your way out. We'll see you next time. I'll be back at 10 o'clock tonight. Big up. See you guys later. Take it easy.